Wake up, it's Chris in the morning light. On KAHI, a day starts right. Foothill news and a smile or two, with a dad joke fresh and the weather too. He's the voice of the hills, keeping it real. Local talk with hometown feel.
Here we go.
So grab your coffee.
Let's grab some coffee.
Don't hit snooze. It's Chris in the morning with your daily news.
Big finish and good Tuesday morning to you. It is December 30th and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 6 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills, Chris Quant, with you here. Holding it down and beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, very, very spacious, nice and toasty warm. And boy, am I grateful for that. Little ice on the windshield this morning. Studio A, KAHI Studios, downtown Auburn, peering through the Venetian blinds at, well, it's a little chilly morning out there. It looks like it's still going to be a little bit dry out there, but I think, I will check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit to see what our weather's looking like. It could be rain on the horizon. Some more rain, some more snow. We could definitely use it, especially the snow. Just putting in my order right now. You a little more snow up there. Let's keep some in reserve for a little bit later on in the season, huh? Let's not shoot our shot all with the liquid here just at the beginning. So hopefully it spans out over some time here. And as we're getting started on this Tuesday, how was your Monday? Everybody have a good Monday? Everybody settling in? Anybody working this week? Anybody just taking some time off, chilling, taking some time off from the other job this week and just chilling just for a little bit? Had some time. Just sitting on the couch yesterday for a little bit, sitting there. Oh boy, there's just something about, my mom would do this all the time. When she could, we had in the house growing up, we had a room there that was south facing. And it just, that morning sun, boy, she'd just sit there, especially in the winter and the fall on a sunny day, just sit there and, I didn't understand it then. I appreciate it now. Maybe that's just a thing about getting older and being a parent, and you just get some more appreciation for what your parents did. Maybe that's just part of getting older. Whereas it's like, why is mom just sitting in the sun, just reading her book and the newspaper and just staying there? Does she want to be doing something? No, yesterday I just sat. I just made some coffee yesterday morning and sat for as long as the sun shines through my living room window. And then when it moved on to the other side of the house, I was like, all right, I can get up and I can start doing stuff. I can start moving around. But gaining every day, every year, appreciation for what my parents, and maybe I'm in that phase of my life where they were then, of still sitting and enjoying the sun. My mom still does that, actually. She's got at their house now. She's got just in this room. It's not necessarily the front room, but it's a room in the house where the sun will hit in the morning, and she's just got a recliner just in a random bedroom there. She's just got a recliner set up just so she can sit in the sun and enjoy her paper and do her reading and whatever she wants to do, and say, "Mom, more power to you." I am coming to appreciate it more and more. But as we're getting started on this Tuesday, hope you're ready to go. If you're not ready to go, I hope you're just staying nice and tucked in bed. Just stay warm. You got my permission. Just stay there. Just hang out for a little bit. Maybe get your hot beverage, whatever that may be, and just take it easy today as we're getting started on this Tuesday. Yeah, it's that interesting time, that flux time. What are we doing? It's the week between Christmas and New Year, as we're all just maybe reflecting, and we've got some more reflections that we'll do today, and as we're going through the rest of this week for the rest of the year, tis the time for lists, taking a look back, counting down, and all that. Today is, by the way, it's National Resolution Planning Day. So are you making a New Year's resolution? Have you gotten to the point where you're like, yeah, I tried that. Not necessarily for me. Mary Jane and I were talking about that this last Friday about, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to keep doing what I've been trying to do, the things that I've started doing. Duolingo, by the way, is getting very aggressive on my phone. They're like, hey, I need to limit notifications. I don't know if you're the ones that limit notifications on your phone. My wife has them popping up all day long, all the time. Apparently, she can handle that mentally. I'm just like, please get that out of my face. I don't need to see notifications popping up. When I open my phone and decide to look at something, that's when I'll see if I've missed anything. But no, I don't need it popping up on my home screen there. Somehow, Duolingo has taken over my home screen. not a sponsor of the show. Producer Adam, let's see if we can get him to sponsor the show. And is now just giving me messages all the time and saying, "Hey, don't miss this deal. Don't miss it." So I need to go in and check my settings. But I think my resolution is just keep doing what I'm doing. I've started this whole thing where I'm trying to learn some Japanese. My son's over there, as you well know, trying to kind of learn. He's been he's immersed in it, so he's doing really, really well. I'm just going to see if maybe I can kind of keep up with a little bit of what he's doing. And I love how our kids push us to do things that maybe we wouldn't normally do. So very, very cool. But on this National Resolution Planning Days, maybe you're the kind that plans out your resolution. I thought, well, what are some non-traditional New Year's resolutions? What do those look like? What's the internet suggesting on, maybe I don't want to do a traditional, everybody could go to the gym, I'm going to eat less carbs and blah, 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 blah. Well, how about some other things? Maybe around mindset or self-care, some anti-resolutions. Maybe commit to not doing something like constantly saying yes or scrolling social media. That could be a thing, a good discipline there. Focus on feeling, exercise to feel good, not to look a certain way. Read for enjoyment, not productivity. Yeah, there doesn't have to be a goal associated with it. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have this marker that I have to get. Sometimes there's plenty of things in life that you have to benchmark and you have to track, and, measuring something makes it real and it gives you a reason to kind of keep going on something. But maybe some things we just do for fun, just for the heck of it. Digital detox. How about this one? Take one night a week, phone free, unsubscribe from email lists, or limit your screen time. One thing I do appreciate about my phone is it does give me at the end of the week, I don't know if yours does this, it gives me a recap. Speaking of metrics and comparisons, it gives me metrics of how much screen time I've spent throughout the week. And it can be a sobering reminder of, maybe don't pick up the phone so often. Maybe don't pick up the phone as much. Just standing in a line yesterday, just standing there. What am I going to do? Well, I pull out my phone. I start scrolling social media while I'm waiting to be the next one called up to be helped out. Yeah, maybe I just, instead of doing that, just leave the phone in the pocket there and just kind of look around, observe, see if maybe somebody needed the door open for them. Just taking some time to notice the world around you. We could do that. Practice gratitude. Write down one thing daily or keep a journal. Yeah, why not? That's one thing that we like to do at our house. My in-laws, my sister-in-law, they do a thing called high-low buffalo. What is that? High? What's something from today that is a high? What was a high point for you for today? What was maybe a low point or something that wasn't so great or you didn't like or maybe you'd want to do again a little bit differently, and we can focus on that and just say, hey, yeah, it's always a learning opportunity. And then Buffalo. Buffalo is just a wild card. What's just some crazy wild thing that happened to you today that is worth mentioning, would be worth a shout out. So maybe you're doing with the family, or maybe you're doing with some friends. High, low, Buffalo. High, what's a high? What's a low? And what's a wild card that happened to you today? And maybe nothing else, just be kinder to yourself. Talk to yourself with kindness. Let go of grudges, or forgive yourself for mistakes. I got to tell you, doing a little bit of self-care goes a long way. So maybe you're doing some anti-resolutions, not for a goal, not for any major purpose, but just for the heck of it, or just a digital detox, something like that, or practicing gratitude. I don't know, just some ideas if that's something that you're into. Is that something that you want to do? Something, I think, just a great reminder. We don't need New Year's to do that. We can just do that at any time as we're getting either started on this day or any day. Hey, we got a lot coming up today. We've got the Meddlers meeting. They're going to be back in action in the 7 o'clock hour. We've got our daily dad jokes that are moving to the 8 o'clock hour, so you can send yours in now. Linda, I see those in. Looks like we've got another one in waiting as well. I'll check on that here live at KAHI.com, LIVE at KAHI.com, or call 530-885-3565. But let's get to it. Come on. If it's your birthday today, take a lap here. Take a bow. Happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic birthday today. I did. Yes, producer Producer Adam, thank you for the reminder. I did text my cousin yesterday. I did say happy birthday to her. I'll have to ask her how it went. I know her friends were planning a big. It was one of those milestone birthdays. I won't say what milestone, but it was a milestone birthday for her, and I hope she had a really good one. She was telling me she had friends that were planning out a big day for her, so hope it was a good one. If you have a birthday today, though, let's focus on you. Happy stinking birthday to you. If you have a birthday today, you share it with Bo Diddley, American singer-songwriter and guitarist, born on this day, 1928. Skeeter Davis, American singer-songwriter, 1931. Del Shannon, American singer-songwriter. Ooh, big day for singer-songwriters. 1934. Jack Riley, American actor, 1935. Paul Stuckey, American singer-songwriter, 1937. Michael Nesmith, American singer. Good gracious. American singer-songwriter. One of the Monkees, born on this day, 1942. I was watching I like to watch these behind the scenes or shows that, here's some fun facts about these different shows or whatnot. Turns out I think one of the Monkees was actually originally slated to be the Fonz on Happy Days. I think it was the guy who was the drummer. I can't remember his name. Anyway, was in the running to be the Fonz on Happy Days, but he was too tall when standing next to Ron Howard. Apparently, it's all about. Boy, it's so many things when it comes to casting a role, right? And apparently, if you're not the right height, Henry Winkler got it. He was shorter he wasn't as tall compared to Ron Howard. So I guess that's how Henry Winkler got the role as the Fonz. But it really interesting, isn't it? Keep going down the list here. 1942, Fred Ward, American character, actor, Davy Jones, English singer-songwriter. Boy, a lot of singer-songwriters. 1945, Patti Smith, American singer-songwriter and poet. Wow. Tracy Ullman, English-American actress, 1959. Sean Hannity, American radio and television host, 1961. Tiger Woods, American golfer, 1975. So happy birthday to them. Woo! What a list today. And happy birthday to you if today is your birthday. Again, I hope you have a fantastic day today. Speaking of today, we need to figure out what our weather's looking like. For that, we're going to turn it over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
Tuesday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies today in the low 50s and very light winds. Clouds will increase overnight in the low 40s for the temperature. We're going to go into a wet weather pattern later Wednesday into Wednesday night and Thursday, New Year's Day. Cloudy with occasional rain. Highs will be around 50 during the day and about 45 at night. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 12 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:12 a.m. Coming up, we'll have your Fox Business Report, more events for the calendar. Stay tuned. Back right after this.
Auburn's department store, McCullough's, has something for everyone. From the latest styles for men, women, and adorable kids' clothes and toys. They bring the best brands to the foothills. You can skip the big box store stress and the parking hassles. There's plenty of free parking at McCullough's with quality service and that classic neighborhood feel. Save time, gas, and money by shopping at McCullough's in the Auburn Town Center, right off of Elm.
Naturewood's year-end clearance sales on now. We need to make room for all the fabulous styles coming for 2026. Hurry in for the best selection of one-of-a-kind, discontinued, clearance, and select floor samples. The savings are amazing. You'll save an additional 10% off on all of our mega clearance. We have huge savings in every department, including sofas, sectionals, recliners, dining tables, and chairs, mattresses, beds, dressers, desks, bookcases, and the list goes on and on. Naturewood, the building with the water wheel. Tell them Brooklyn, Nova, and Orion sent you.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here, coming to you from the drafty corner of the KAHI studios where Chris is living the luxurious life in Studio A, sipping cocoa under twinkle lights, while I'm over here begging for just one more lump of coal to keep the KAHI stove running. But hey, holiday spirit and all that, Chris in the Morning really is the best way to start your day. And no, he's still not paying me to say that. Catch Chris in the Morning Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and streaming worldwide at KAHI.com. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go see if Santa left me a space heater.
And 14 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:14 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Nevada City. Currently 38 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 59 degrees. All right, let's turn it over now, as we do, to the Fox Business Report.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Intel shares are in positive territory after NVIDIA completes its strategic investment, finalizing its $5 billion stake in Intel under a September agreement. According to this week's filing, the world's most valuable firm has bought over 214.7 million Intel shares at the price set out in the September agreement. U.S. antitrust agencies had cleared NVIDIA's investment in Intel, according to a notice posted by the FTC earlier in the month. Applied Digital shares up in the pre-market after the company announced it would spin off its cloud business and combine it with Exobionics. And aerospace giant Boeing shares are up slightly after the U.S. Air Force awarded it an $8.58 billion contract to build fighter jets for Israel's military. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lilian Wu, invested in you.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia, and I'm thrilled to announce that I've joined the KAHI radio team. Each weekday morning from 9 to noon, I'm live on KAHI. We tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies impacting your health. The Dr. Dahlia Show is also a live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions on the air. Join me, Dr. Dahlia, Monday through Friday from 9 to noon here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:16 a.m. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. This is a New Year's Eve event. This Wednesday, December 31st from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Going all the way to 12 a.m. Good gracious, that must be a New Year's Eve party there. Yeah, it's the Dreamers Ball New Year's Eve dance party. That's happening at the Miners Foundry Stone Hall at 325 Spring Street in Nevada City. It's going to be a good time. You can get your tickets online at Eventbrite. Step into a dream this New Year's Eve. The Stone Hall comes alive with live music, small bites, and the midnight champagne toast at the Dreamers Ball. Yeah, it's happening from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. all the way up to midnight there. Live music by Dream and the Dreamerlet. Okay, anyway, the soulful atmospheric sound, somebody needed to put a space there, of Dream and the Dreamer carry you into 2026. The band will set the tone for a night filled with movement, imagination, and connection on the dance floor. Culinary bites. Enjoy small bites, thoroughly crafted food portions available through the evening, perfect for grazing between sets and mingling with fellow revelers. Midnight champagne toast and raise a glass as the clock strikes 12. They're going to provide complimentary champagne and toast to ring in the new year with style and a sparkle. Yeah, it's the Dreamers Ball. It's on New Year's Eve. It's happening at the Miners Foundry Stone Hall. That's at 325 Spring Street in Nevada City. Get your tickets online at eventbrite.com. You can find out more at dreamandthedreamer.com. It's a New Year's Eve dance party all the way till midnight. If you can stay up that late, definitely do it. Again, it's going to be this Wednesday, December 31st from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. The Dreamers Ball and New Year's Eve dance party at the Miners Foundry Stone Hall, 325 Spring Street in Nevada City. Back with more right after this.
Advertise with KAHI Radio, the voice of the foothills, and you'll reach those who matter most. Your local customers for your local business. Here's Fred Penny of Penny & Associates to tell you why he uses KAHI Radio.
This is Fred Penny of Penny & Associate Injury Lawyers, and I choose to advertise on AM 950 KAHI Radio because it works.
So call our KAHI sales team at 530-885-5636. That's 530-885-5636 to start your local advertising today.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:18 a.m. Coming up in our next segment at the bottom of the hour, Sports Ball. Kings didn't play yesterday. The Sharks played. We'll let you know the score of that game there. Kings are playing again tonight. They're playing against the Clippers. I'll let you know what time. You can catch that here on KAHI. Also, other scores around the NBA. Also, Monday Night Football last night. We'll check with some local scores as well. My gosh, a lot going on. Always a time to send in your daily dad jokes, by the way. That's going to move to the 8 o'clock hour since we have the Meddlers meeting during the 7 o'clock hour. Our dance card is full today. We're going to head off now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here at the bottom of the hour.
On a need-to-know basis, because you need to know. The first thing today.
Perpetuates that is China and Russia within our own, our own hemisphere. So and you have Also, Iran.
Bum, 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 Iran. Bum, 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 Iran.
Oh, the greatest hits of the 60s, 70s, and today here on First Thing Today by Joe Thomas. On the subject, since you brought it up, Iran and the collapsing economy within Iran. And it's interesting because we've heard two stories on the news wires about China's economy. Apparently, the economic punditry is amazed that China hasn't collapsed under the weight of this phony baloney real estate driven economy, land value driven economy, and Iran's dollar has cratered as well, and there are riots, food riots in the streets of Tehran. We'll get into all of that. In the midst of it all, buying opportunity at jcsgold.com, question mark. James Luck is on the phone with us at 434-882-4217. That's our number. His is 434-979 coin. Call him after 10 Eastern. Good morning, James. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Joe. And gold and silver did have quite the buying opportunity yesterday. Really historic days. Honestly, last Friday we saw, a 10% jump in silver, and then yesterday we saw a 10% decline in silver. Really crazy numbers that I never thought that we'd see, but. Gold and silver did stabilize, and they currently are rebounding a little bit. Gold is up 1.25%, $55 to $4,387. Silver is up almost 4% to $74.80. So prices did stabilize, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of our clients, a lot of our customer base took advantage and really purchased a lot of silver yesterday at jcsgold.com. They took advantage of our low premium to below spot prices on silver. So check that out while those supplies last, because it might be hard to keep in stock in the coming days.
Well, and you mentioned it. I mean, you can get on there right now. Store doesn't open for 4 hours, 3.5 hours. And you can go right now and place orders if you go to jcsgold.com. But it's good, especially if you're gold curious, to talk to a family business that's not out there working on commission, that is, been running this business since 1961. So it's important to them. And that way you can at least trust that their part of the conversation is as important as yours, as your questions about gold and silver investing. And that's why I always say, talk to the Luck family at jcsgold.com, 434-979-COIN. That's their phone number, James. Well, thank you, sir. Man, keep your arms and legs inside the ride until it comes to a complete stop, right?
Absolutely. I'm going to hang on as we go through this roller coaster, but it really is exciting times for gold and silver, that's for sure.
Well, absolutely. So you have a great morning. Happy Tuesday.
Thanks, Joe. You too.
And understand the point of gold and silver isn't necessarily the climbs and declines. It's the stability of knowing it's never going to be zero, which is what's happened in Tehran. Their currency has cratered under their weight of their military buildup, under the weight of their sanctions that have been imposed upon them. And this is why you impose sanctions, because at some point, the leadership of a country needs to choose its leaders. I know there are other countries that don't think that way. But our foundational principles, and understand that all of this, you say, well, just get the win, Joe. Hell with the Constitution, hell with the Bill of Rights, just get the win. Get rid of the Somalis. Whether there's quick stick a pin in the Somali story for a second, because there's more going on here, again, under the banner of distraction. But as the declaration clearly lays out, governments are instituted amongst men, to secure these rights. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. If those governments fail their citizens, it is the essence of human rights to overthrow said government. And it was the premise behind Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Moscow and Radio Free Cuba. We were sending American messages over the air of freedom and liberty. Half our problem is sometimes we have our own people in Congress like Ilhan Omar that just want to make themselves multimillionaires, while the rest of us are like, I don't know, do you want to get gas or groceries today, Marge? Luckily, gas has come down considerably, so at least there's that. And this is what they're trying to tag Trump for, is that, well, you promised us grocery prices were going to come down. And I want to get into the fertilizer costs, and will they come down? And is there a reason to go after the fertilizer manufacturers because the prices may not have come down? But in Iran, the collapse of their economy have led to protests in the middle of the city, in Tehran and beyond. Now, what is the opportunity? And let's go back to what I didn't get as much time with yesterday. I just, out of happenstance, my son mentioned Richard Nixon in a conversation, and Alexa decided I needed to see a Richard Nixon video. Oh, come on, that happens. There was no other reason. It wasn't the anniversary of his resignation. It wasn't the anniversary of his death, which was actually, the video was on the day he died. But in 1992, long before Nigel Farage was Nigel Farage, long before Brexit was something other than a cutesy name for a breakfast biscuit, Richard Milhouse Nixon was on the phone with George Herbert Walker Bush and William Jefferson Clinton saying, you two got to understand that Soviet Union's collapsed now, and we have an opportunity to help the Russian people develop a free country. And neither of them listened. And we allowed NATO to call the tune on what happened in Russia. So are we going to make the same mistake as Iran falls? And I believe it's headed that way. Because the last time Iran fell, it went pretty pear-shaped for the United States. So how lightly do we tread on this ice flow?
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say: "We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great. It even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. So visit strongtel.com right now. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. It's StrongTel.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sandra Fay, President of the American Veterinary Medical Association. With record heat, wildfires, and hurricanes forecast this summer, how do we keep our pets safe? No matter where we live, the potential for natural or man-made disasters is a possibility, so preparation is key. First, make sure to have an evacuation plan mapped out in advance. Know where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. Next, put together a pet emergency kit with several days' food, medicine, a first aid kit, and other essential items. Make sure your pets are microchipped with updated contact information in case you get separated. And be sure to have your pet's vaccination and medical records, plus contact info for your vet and pharmacy. If you need help on how to prepare, reach out to your veterinarian's office. And for more information, visit avma.org/disaster.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is December 30th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you. Oh, we already did Nevada City. How about Forest Hill? Good morning to you. 46 degrees right now. Looking for a high today of 60 degrees. All right, let's get right over to it. Where's the sports ball music? There it is. All right, let's head into, well, let's start on the ice. Last night, Sharks versus the Mighty Ducks. Sharks come away with the W there. They win that one by 5-4 over the Ducks. Back on KAHI tonight, the Kings are going to be playing versus the Clippers. That's going to be at 8 o'clock tonight, so check out all of the action here on KAHI. Kings are back on KAHI, 8 o'clock tonight versus the LA Clippers. Speaking of the NBA, let's head over there now. Yesterday, the Warriors played, although the Kings didn't. Warriors played last night. They get the W, 122-107 over the Nets. Heat beat the Nuggets 147-123. Suns outshine the Wizards 115-101. Bucks over the Hornets 123-113. Raptors over the Magic, but just barely 107-106. And Pacers versus the Rockets. Rockets blast off win there 126-119. Thunder bring the Thunder over the Hawks 140-129. And the Trailblazers make a trail to victory there, 125-122 over the Mavericks. Monday Night Football last night, we saw the Rams play the Falcons. Falcons fly away with the win there over the Rams, 27-24. Got the Auburn Journal in my hot little hands here. Hillman outlast Rockland in OT thriller. What the heck's going on there? The Placer High School boys basketball team had every reason to let Tuesday night slip away. Instead, the Hillmen showed exactly why they're making a case as one of the San Joaquin section's top teams. After surrendering a 4-point lead in the final minute of regulation, Placer regrouped behind its experience and outlasted defending Division II section champion Rockland 70-67 in overtime at the Earl Crabb Gym in Auburn. Fantastic. Way to go, Hillman fellas, on the W there. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Hello, KAHI listeners. This is Ann Hidalgo, your host of A Time for Seniors. You might be used to hearing us at 6 a.m. on Saturdays, but we moved to 12 noon. A Time for Seniors is your local senior resource show bringing you all the important information concerning seniors. We talk health, financials, medical, keep you updated on current scams, hear inspirational stories, and laugh at ourselves a little. So tune in Saturdays at noon on FM 104.5 and AM 950, KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
Tuesday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies today in the low 50s and very light winds. Clouds will increase overnight in the low 40s for the temperature. We're going to go into a wet weather pattern later Wednesday into Wednesday night and Thursday, New Year's Day. Cloudy with occasional rain. Highs will be around 50 during the day and about 45 at night. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Did you ever wonder where we get a word like muckety-muck? How about the whole kit and caboodle? I'm Martha Barnett, along with Grant Barrett.
Each week on Away with Words, we try to solve linguistic mysteries.
And we invite you to call us with your questions about language. We want to hear from you about words and phrases, regional dialects, grammar, or maybe that weird family expression you grew up with.
So join us on Away with Words, Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m., here on the voice of the foothills, AM 950 KAHI.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, more events for the calendar. We'll have your California, the Ag Report. Gosh, the California Ag Report. There we go. Brain just spaced out there for a second. Then we're going to head back to JT in the morning, and then we'll start off hour number 7, or hour number... Okay, Chris, regroup here. The 7 o'clock hour with the Meddlers meeting. Lots coming up. Stay tuned. I just have to go back and regroup here. We'll be back with more after this.
By Joe Thomas.
Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran.
Oh, this even came up yesterday in the commentariat. I thought this was, because it's been so long, and I don't think anyone else even remembers the song, it even existed a little bit, but the idea that allowing Iran to collapse under its own power is it is okay to look at, but we need to have the plan that we didn't want to involve ourselves in as Russia was falling. Because when Russia fell and Yeltsin's on the hood of the tank and the whole thing went pear-shaped in a few hours, really. I mean, it was weeks in the brewing, but by the time it came down, the last little bit, came very quickly. What are you going to do with them? You're already facing rebukes at home, the administration is, for paying attention to these countries in the world rather than America. Supposedly. I mean, GDP's up 4.8% and gas prices are down. Some states in the union are actually seeing gas prices with a 1 in front of them. So I disagree with the people who say President Trump in the administration isn't paying attention to America. That's what his political opponents, those are the people who want to win the midterms, get a majority, and start unending impeachment proceedings on the president. So you need to have a plan to help the Iranian people establish a free government that's of their choosing. Now understand, they have in exile a parliamentary government that was there, and this all begins in Iran with a prime minister, massively popular prime minister, getting elected in, was it 54? And by 55, he's run afoul of the British because he wants to keep the revenue from Iran's oil fields, and Britain hasn't finished with its colonialism just yet. And there were reasons. Britain, we talked about this some months and months ago, and I received an email from a friend who said that you're missing the point. Britain had very little still going for it in 1955. World War II was less than 10 years over, and that the reconstruction of Britain was going slowly, and it would, the shipbuilding and things like that out of Belfast wasn't cranking, and the British economy had very little, save for some of the oil revenue coming from places like Iran. British Petroleum, big supporters in there, and getting all the oil and then selling it. And Iran's prime minister said, no, we want to control that. We want a new deal. And the story has become almost, commonplace to talk about the statecraft that was engaged in between MI5 mostly, but at the request, the CIA was called in. They had better assets and such. And what does this have to do with intelligence, you say? Well, nothing. It didn't have to do with intelligence gathering. It had to do with statecraft. It had to do with getting somebody who is on the team into power in Tehran, and so they elevated the Shah. And the Shah, without a mandate from the people, started cracking heads and cracking down. And it lasted for a while, 20 odd years. But eventually, the deposed religious leaders in Iran, the Ayatollah, was able to turn an economic collapse into a return to power. And here we are. So this seat of the Persian empires was powerful then too. People forget that in the 50s, the Islamic world was led in a lot of ways by Iran even then, because it was ironically this image of how West and East could coexist, how Eastern philosophy, Eastern religious adherents could live in a Western world. And maybe that was a dog and pony show. But as Iran blows up in the late 70s, by the early 90s, Russia is collapsing. And we have another opportunity to help and our alliances with NATO and China to a degree. And don't forget, we counted on China to be a very big trading partner, and they didn't want us helping Russia. They saw that a collapsed Russia gives them the field to be the world's number 2 behind the United States. And since we were buying everything from them anyway, what's really number 2? So don't discount, although Nigel Farage makes a compelling case as to why NATO should have led the way in helping Russia up, rather than saying, let me kick some dirt on you there. Sucks to be you now, doesn't it? And so we have opportunity. And what will we do with that opportunity? That's going to be the big question is are we smart about the opportunity this time? We're going to check in with our sports director, Mac, who will be up in an hour with his notebook. But what are you working on for us, Mac?
Good morning, Joe. Here are the Tuesday headlines that we're chasing. While the talk of the NBA has been OKC and the Spurs, one Celtic has quietly made history. Sunday, Jaylen Brown scored 37, making his 9th straight game with at least 30. The only other Celtic to do it was Larry Bird. Head coach, Joe Mazzulla.
It's even harder for a guy like him to play balanced basketball and play, team basketball. You saw, some assists down the stretch there. Not only is it extremely difficult to do that, it's extremely difficult to play well-balanced basketball. And I think it's something that, he does consistently for us.
The Celtics did lose to Portland. Brown can set that record tonight against Utah in Salt Lake.
Business news for Bangkok. European shares opened in Bangkok mixed after slipping in Asia. Regional markets wrapped up trading for the year. Crude oil prices edged higher and gold and silver resumed their ascent, as we heard James Luck talking about 20 minutes ago here on the program. U.S. futures were flat as the markets begin their Tuesday morning opening. Tokyo, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takagi rang out the final session with a ceremony yesterday saying, realizing a Japanese economy that earns the trust of investors of the world, we will create a virtuous cycle which global capital flows into Japan. Those are our business headlines.
Hi, I'm Mark Falter with the Financial Fitness Show. Have you been keeping up on the big, beautiful bill? If you are over the age of 60, everything you thought you knew about taxes and tax preparation has just done a big shift. So if you want to get more information on how the big, beautiful bill applies to you, I welcome you to call and ask for the tax reform kit. It's got several things in it pertaining to your taxes. A booklet titled Take Charge of Your Taxes, Tax Strategies, several things in it. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. The tax reform kit. Again, 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635.
And good Tuesday morning to you. It is December 30th. It is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lincoln. Currently 37 degrees right now. Looking for a high today of 50 degrees. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. We've been talking about this one. Actually, this looks really interesting to me. The Golden Thread, Stories That Shine. It's an evening of live storytelling, curated tales, and open mic moments. Voices from near and far. Now, this is happening on Saturday, January 24th from 6:30 to 9 p.m. It's going to be at the Branches at the Carnegie here in Auburn. It's a free event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat in advance. If you'd like to go to this, again, sounds really interesting, you can reserve your seat at Ticket Taylor. That's ticket and then TAILOR.com/events. Where every story glitters. What is this Golden Thread thing? Stories that shine? Well, I'll tell you. Join them for a curated lineup of storytellers alongside open mic moments, weaving together voices from near and far. Some stories will make you laugh, some may catch you off guard, and others might just stay with you long after the night ends. Whether spoken softly or told boldly, each story adds to the golden thread that binds us all. Set in the welcoming atmosphere of Branches at the Carnegie in Auburn, this free community event invites listeners and storytellers alike to gather, reflect, and celebrate the power of shared experiences. Again, seating is limited. Reserve your seat online at Ticket Taylor, TAILOR.com/events. Again, it's the Golden Thread, Stories That Shine, an evening of live storytelling, curated tales and open mic moments from voices near and far. Saturday, January 24th, so time to get it on the calendar now, from 6:30 to 9 p.m., Branches at the Carnegie here in Auburn. All right, let's head over now, as we do, to the California Ag Report.
It's time for California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship, and the monetary awards keep on rolling in. Just last week, I shared news of similar funding, and now we're adding a couple of zeros behind the dollar signs for projects focused on cutting methane emissions and improving water quality here in California. The State Department of Food and Agriculture has announced $26.8 million in federal funding for 23 on-farm projects through the Dairy Plus program. The funding supports dairy farmers as they adopt manure management practices that reduce emissions and protect water quality. An additional $7.8 million in state climate funds is being leveraged to help to match that investment. CDFA Secretary Karen Ross says supporting dairy and livestock producers in their drive to implement sustainable practices while continuing to provide nutritious local food for California is more important now than ever. These projects are expected to reduce emissions by 124,000 metric tons each year. CDFA estimates that methane reduction efforts have already delivered about 27.43 million metric tons of lifetime emissions reductions. For more on the projects, just head to aginfo.net.
Increasing your almond yield can seem like a tough nut to crack, but it doesn't have to be. Protect your crop with Maravon fungicide at Bloom for added resiliency against frost, long-lasting broad-spectrum disease control, and proven yield results. See? That wasn't tough at all. Maravon fungicide, #1 at Bloom for all the right reasons. Always read and follow label directions.
The best place to reach a farmer with a farming solution message is when they're, well, farming. It's easy to find them during the day, as most farmers are behind the wheel of their pickup truck or farm equipment with the radio on, listening to this station for the Ag Information Network of the West News. So reach real farmers right here, right now, as they listen to what's important to their farm operation. Give us a call and we'll connect you with our local farming community. They trust us, so they'll trust you.
This is California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. Find more agricultural news at aginfo.net.
11 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:49 a.m. Coming up next hour, we've got the Meddlers meeting. Yeah, they're back in action after taking last week off. We'll see what's going on here in the city of Auburn, also Placer County. Also, who is today's guest speaker? Well, we'll find out together. I hope they remember that they're a guest speaker this week between Christmas and New Year's. We'll see what happens. Lots more coming up. Stay tuned. We're going to finish off the hour now with JT in the morning. See you back here at the top of the hour with the Meddlers meeting. Oh, also, don't forget, dad jokes are moving to the 8 o'clock hour. Send yours in now live at KAHI.com, LIVE at KAHI.com, or call 530-885-3565. See you back here in just a little bit.
Who don't have enough to eat, shoe the children with no shoes on their feet. How's the people living in the street? Oh, there's a solution.
So if government programs are the answer to all of the ills in society, don't you think after 60 years of the Great Society, somebody would read the score to us? Oh. Yeah, that's right. I do that a lot because the score ain't good. It's like being the Jets in the NFL. I don't know if you saw this as a funny sidebar, but the Jets, some of the Jets fans are railing against the Patriots because they ran up the score after the Jets hit a player out of bounds, and got all loud with them during a game that the Patriots are already up by 2 touchdowns, and the Jets hit a guy out of bounds and then started barking at him. And the Patriots head coach said, "Open it up." I love it. This is exactly what you're down 2 touchdowns and you're still lipping off.
Oh my gosh! So
no more holding back on these guys.
Absolutely, it is. I think it is lost to time or what. So
but the do-gooders, as Ronald Reagan called them in 1964, are a team so woeful even the New York Jets probably could beat them. The score is so abysmal. That's why they don't read you the score. They're just like, but we're helping people. And they're not. And the Somali story is about how they're not really helping people. And keep in mind the $100 million that vanished into the Somali community was unearthed for one reason only, summed up in 2 words. One of them's Ilhan, and the other one is Omar. People's zeal to bring down Ilhan Omar led them to this corruption. But there's a bigger story here, and I couldn't care less. I mean, I would love for the constituents in Minnesota to vote in somebody more representative of their needs and wants than Ilhan Omar. But I get no gratification out of it. Listen, how many of us have had to marry a sibling to, get ahead in the world, right? But I want to go back to another part of this story, or at least I believe it's part of the story, and it's the letter from the 98 mayors of Minnesota asking Tim Walz where the $13 billion surplus vanished to. Now that, $18 billion surplus that has now become a $3 billion deficit. Now, do a little arithmetic. It's $21 billion that the state of Minnesota has burned through like Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. I'm only burning my half. $21 billion have vanished in taxpayer money. And it may not be current living taxpayers. It may more likely be the grandchildren of today's taxpayers. But somebody is going to have to pay for that. And there is a degree of fault that falls on Minnesota Republicans. I say this to you coming out of the speakers of anyone listening to KDIZ in Minneapolis right now, because if you seed the playing field, this is what you get. We watch it here in Charlottesville, Virginia, our flagship city, the birthplace of Thomas Jefferson, the birthplace of America. The Republican Party has been woebegone for years. The closest the Republican Party ever came to being oppositional to the mad march to the left was when a young lady named Carol Thorpe used to run the Tea Party, not even the Republican Party, but she would go to every city council meeting. And bless them, news people, they like conflict. So if the Tea Party was there, she'd get on TV holding conservative principles out in front of people watching the evening news. Nary do they do that anymore. It's just left, 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 left. It's like they're all marching with the same foot. Mo money, mo money, mo money. More taxing authority. Virginia's General Assembly is about to convene in a couple of weeks, and every locality led by leftists is drooling over the possibility of a Democrat governor and a supermajority of Democrats in the House to give them local, not even to send them more money, to give them local taxing authority. The way Virginia's organized, that you can't do anything as a locality or a municipality without permission from the state government. And so they all want the state government to give them special taxing overlays. This is going to be our congestion tax, and this is going to be our farming tax, and this is going to be our land preservation tax, and this is going to be our carpet tax, and it's unhinged. And yet the Republicans there are several, a guy named Mark Obenchain is very vocal about trying to push back against it. A guy named Bryce Reeves was going to run against U.S. Senator Mark Warner, who will love to tell you that he's the ranking member of the Senate Intelligence Committee. He might have met his match, but he stepped out of the race, and we're going to talk to him about what went on and what needs to happen in these midterms. This was going to be one of those midterms races. And he had to step out of the race for family reasons. But another one who's continuing to hold their feet to the fire while still protecting things like your right to keep and bear arms, our right to free speech. But you actually have to use the speech. You have to push back. You have to show up and argue. Oregon, we've talked to some of the conservative leaders in Oregon. That's starting to happen now, especially in the light of the Summer of Love in 2020. New York conservatives are starting to stand up. Granted, some of them are saying, let's let New York become its own state. They want to, this is New York conservatives' idea. It's like, just let New York City and Long Island become their own state, and then we'll be done with you, and we can have a Republican governor and Republican senators. We tried that in Virginia. Washington, D.C. is supposed to be a square footprint, the entire Arlington, Virginia area. So we used to have a campaign called Make D.C. Square Again. We were willing to trade that for D.C. statehood, because you take that enclave out of our voting rolls, oh man, Republicans would actually start to win. But the first thing Republicans need to do, like in Minnesota, is stand up.
Hi, I'm Mark Falter with the Financial Fitness Show. Have you been keeping up on the big, beautiful bill? There's a lot of information in this bill. It's 877 pages long. And for that reason, we're offering a free webinar. July 31st at 6:30 p.m. Central. where you can actually get on and ask your questions. Come with your questions. Come with your scenario, and hopefully we'll have time to answer. It's going to be about 30, 45 minutes long. It's going to be more interactive. And if you want to know how you can get on that webinar, 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. July 31st at 6:30 p.m. Central. Free webinar, 866-764-2635. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635.
FM 104.5, K283CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Attorney General Bondi says so far 98 people, the lion's share of Somali descent, have been charged, more than 60 convicted, in the massive Minnesota fraud scandal, defrauding taxpayers of billions through Medicare scams and bogus child care centers, among other schemes that have allegedly run rampant for years. President Trump says he expects speedy implementation of Phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire, suggesting the biggest challenge may be rendering Hamas harmless.
There has to be a disarmament, that we have to disarm with Hamas. So one of the things we'll talk about certainly, but there has to be a disarming of Hamas. Otherwise, very quickly. Yeah.
The president threatens dire consequences for Hamas if it fails to disarm as promised. The past 2 days, Mr. Trump has met separately with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Talks held at Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. China has been growing increasingly aggressive in the military drills it's conducting off Taiwan. An update, the BBC's Stephen McDonnell in Beijing.
According to journalists on Pingtan Island, which is close to Taiwan, volleys of rockets were fired into Army exercises move into the second day. Live fire operations have been increased on all sides of Taiwan. The Chinese military says it's carrying out simulated strikes and a dress rehearsal for a blockade of the territory Beijing considers a rogue province. US President Donald Trump said he wasn't worried by the mass exercises as they'd happened before.
The U.S. military has carried out another strike on an alleged drug-running boat in the eastern Pacific. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify. Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save families up to $500 a month, and obviously that's a big deal, but they like it too, especially being part of something that reflects their values instead of working against them. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Saudi Arabia says it has bombed Yemen's port city of Mukalla over a shipment of weapons for a separatist force that arrived from the United Arab Emirates. The attack signals a new escalation in tension between the kingdom and the Southern Transitional Council, which is backed by the Emirates. It also further strains ties between Riyadh and Abu Dhabi, which had been backing competing sides in Yemen's decade-long war against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. A military statement carried by the state-run Saudi press agency announced the strikes. Anti-Houthi forces later declared a state of emergency, blocking border crossings into territory that they hold. By some measures, China's economy is looking resilient with strong exports and breakthroughs in AI. But that's not how it feels for many Chinese citizens. They're suffering the strain of weak property prices as well as uncertainty over their jobs and incomes. News and analysis, townhall.com. It's enough to make you sour on sweets. Over the course of a year, many Americans eat an awful lot of sugar.
Up to 57 pounds per year, according to the American Heart Association. And the culprit isn't just glazed pastries and soda. Many products marketed as healthy can have a tablespoon of added sugars per serving. Nicole Lavina, a neuroscience and psychiatry professor at Mount Sinai Medical School, says to be wary of marketing terms that aren't regulated, like made with real fruit, all natural, and superfood. Healthy grocery buzzwords like those often cover up an unhealthy amount of sugar. Along with saturated fat and salt, eating excess sugar is linked to heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and other health risks. Keith Peters, Washington.
Wall Street has been in the red so far this morning. The Dow is down about 81 points, while the NASDAQ Composite Index trading 32 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
There's no way that this kid walking around uncovered $100 million worth of fraud.
First Thing Today by Joe Thomas on the Talk Media Network. All natural and free of artificial intelligence.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Joe works at the steel mill, works damn near every day. Leaves for work when the sun comes up, drops a kid to school along the way. Joe has everything he dreamed of, all the treasures that he needs. No wonder Joe's always smiling, he only aims to please you. Let me be your Joe.
Thank you for letting me be of service to you this morning. We tell you what went on in the news. We'll tell you what we see in between the lines. But most importantly, we are here to hear how the news is impacting yous, where yous is, as we used to say in my hometown, at 434-882-4217. That is the phone number. You can also use it for text messaging, as many people do. This one, did the Somalis vote too? They're non-citizens. Well, you see in Minnesota, they have the opportunity to get identification cards, which then gives them the opportunity to register to vote. So you'd have to start going through the roster of the hundreds of thousands of Somalis, tens of thousands of Somalis that live there, and find out how many of them actually did vote. If you're allowed to touch the databases, because remember, if you ask to see the databases, you're an election denier. And we must dismiss you summarily from the town square for being an election denier. Did we forget to call you an election denier? So all of that going on this morning. We're going to visit with the man who was going to try to oust Mark Warner from the U.S. Senate, but was not able to. Also, I penned a new column about 2028. And Virginia and New Jersey. Yes, Virginia, you did elect Santa Claus, but perhaps you even gave a platform to the next presidential candidate. Great story out of California. It was asked this 6 months ago, maybe. Why is it that Virginia, which is very closely divided Republican-Democrat, seems to have more progressive legislation, like our pending abortion permissions? And many of the pre-filed bills for our General Assembly, and the answer was given, which surprised me some. The answer was that in California, Democrats aren't nearly as united as they are here in Virginia. And it surprised me, but reading a story out of California where the Democratic Party is bereft with infighting between the progressives and the moderates, and that it might threaten them as much as they say, oh, everyone in the General Assembly in California is a Democrat, but apparently there are different flavors of Democrat once you get over the Rocky Mountains. Who knew? Back here on the eastern seaboard, we cut them all from the same piece of fabric hanging off the back of Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. And that's the sad bit of it, is that this is what passes as representation these days. Is just get my party a majority and we will rule with impunity. To get the way of whoever it is that paid for all of that electoral stuff. Time for our first things, though, before we jaunt in. The reports out of Moscow that drone strikes had been targeting Vladimir Putin's official residence. Ukraine denies that they carried out any such strike, calling it a complete fabrication. However, Vladimir Putin called Donald Trump, the U.S. president, after the incident was reported publicly, and insisted that now the peace negotiations have to be reset. Iran's largest protests in 3 years erupted Monday after the country's currency plummeted to a record low value against the U.S. dollar. The head of their central bank, Mohammad Reza Farzin, has resigned. State TV reported that traders and shopkeepers are rallying in the streets of downtown Tehran in ways that haven't been seen since 1975. President Trump, meanwhile, warned leadership in Tehran on Monday that the U.S. would carry out more military strikes if they were to try to reconstitute their nuclear program. Saudi Arabia dropped bombs on Yemen's port city of Mukalla this morning over what is described as a shipment of weapons. Videos posted by the Saudi government show Jeeps, Humvees, and other military equipment being offloaded from a ship just before the bomb strikes. The United States, prior to this mess derailing the peace process between Russia and Ukraine, had reportedly offered a 15-year proposal of U.S. intervention to keep Russian and Ukrainian armies apart from one another. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Monday, when reporting on this, said he would have preferred an American commitment of 50 years. The People's Liberation Army of China staged another day of large-scale military drills around Taiwan, unleashing live fire shows of what it's calling Justice Mission 2025. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that they've already arrested 98 individuals in Minnesota and charged them with fraud. 85 of them are Somali descent. And several Republicans in Minnesota are calling for Tim Walz to resign in light of the unfolding fraud scandals.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say: "We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great. It even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. So visit strongtel.com right now. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. It's StrongTel.
FM 104.5 KAHI and AM 950 KAHI.
Can we achieve a new consciousness?
You might be surprised how our evolution is possible. I'm Mary Jane Pop here. Have you looked in the mirror? It's all about looking and changing your life. Want to really know yourself? It could really change all you know about yourself. And do numbers really forecast our lives? It's all about you on Pop Talk, Saturday 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday 9 to 11 p.m., and 24/7 at KAHI.com. Click on Listen, Audio on Demand, and we'll talk together.
We all know that money spent on politicians is nothing more than a bribe. Citizens United called it free speech, but we know better. But what if we could balance the scale a few bucks at a time? That's what we're doing at the Six Pack, taking small donations and adding them up to make things more fair. Crack open some change. Support the Six Pack. Paid for by the Six Pack, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.thesixpack.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
And 15 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:15 a.m. Well, we were trying to get over to the Meddlers meeting. They're having a little bit of technical issues. There was picture but no audio, which doesn't do us a whole lot of good here when we're an audio-based format. Looks like they've resolved the issues. We started out the meeting here getting updates from the city with economic developer Jonathan Wright. Let's go to the meeting now. He's taking questions from the audience. Let's head to the Meddlers meeting now.
That road, probably best not done when there's a lot of traffic going on. Let's put it that way.
Right.
That would be my road that I'm concerned about if I'd ask the question.
Right. No, they're looking at there on Dairy, all the way up to Luther. So there's gonna be some connectivity in there at some point. You know, the roads are so narrow. You got to figure out how wide the travel lanes. You know, you can squeeze them down, but to be able to provide at least
right away for even available. Right. Here it is, your public access right away, even wide enough to.
Or there's a creek alongside, and you know, so yeah. So a lot of this stuff is just planning for the future, but I can't speculate when we're going to have enough financing to do some of the projects. Anytime we do an overlay, though, and we'll be looking at what we do to implement the bike lane things once we do those improvements.
I haven't been to the roundabout during the heat of the day traffic wise. How's it? Have you been up there?
I haven't heard complaints. In fact, most people are complimentary about it. It worked really well.
The one up,
yeah, this not the highest speed one. Yeah.
No, the highest speed one. This is the low speed one.
I don't think everybody's in jazz with the high speed one before you.
The one on World?
It's the one on World. Well,
is that done?
It's fun. Yeah.
When did it
No more questions for Jonathan about a roundabout.
Yeah.
You gotta get out more often.
Why? They actually open, I believe, 5 hours ahead of schedule.
Oh. Why did they go down and work on the high speed rail? Same contractor. My son and grandson were in town. I told them I couldn't drive that way because it wasn't open.
No, a lot of people weren't even aware it was open. But they did what they said they were going to, shut it down just long enough to get it done.
Is that the same contractor that was the initial contractor on the job?
Couldn't tell you.
Huh?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay. Just
that.
Okay, so I would like to welcome Pete Evers up to speak. Sarah Jonathan.
Not the infamous Pete Evers.
He's going to be talking about our first responders. Sophie is on the line. She doesn't have a good Zoom connection. That's what you have, Pete.
Oh, I gotta sit over there.
Yeah.
The coffee seat. That's good. Good morning.
You guys are so close. Turn on the fucking sound.
Born and raised in Auburn. Was hired on as Auburn's first paid firefighter. Stayed with the city for until 2007. Left and worked for Cal Fire and then retired. After I retired, went through some significant events and was diagnosed with what's referred to as complex PTSD. So with that, after I retired, I kind of lost a purpose, because in the fire service or any first responder, it kind of defines who you are. And when you retire, you kind of lose that purpose. For me, like I said, there was some significant events, and I really lost my purpose. You know, the second family going to the firehouse. So with that, I tried to fill that void with several part-time jobs, this, that, and everything. And where I found my purpose again is helping these first responders with this issue. To give you kind of an idea of how big this issue is, our licensed and vetted clinicians are 30 to 60 days out to help these individuals. And after a critical incident is a traffic accident with a trauma.
20 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:20 a.m. If you're just tuning in, we're listening into the Auburn Meddlers meeting, as we do every Tuesday during the 7 o'clock hour. If you missed the introduction, we're listening to today's guest speaker. His name is Pete Evers. He is with Peer Support for First Responders, so talking about his experiences and what he does. Pete Evers, Peer Support for First Responders, is today's guest speaker for the Meddlers meeting. Let's head back to the meeting now.
To get into the facility, it's a week-long process, and to get these guys help. Because speaking from experience, this consumes you. We see depression, we see high rate of suicide, substance abuse, depression, anger, anxiety, hypervigilance, all this stuff. And it affects us, so you need to get these guys out. So what the Hook and Ladder Company, a little bit about that is the Hook and Ladder Company was the fire department of Auburn back in the day. Founded in 1852. Along with that, I don't remember what the date, the time frame, but it was a separation of essentially the state. So the Hook and Ladder Company became kind of the booster of the fire department. Over the fire department. So as time went on, we were looking at ways to possibly benefit the city of Auburn Fire Department, and some of the discussions that came out were the peer support program. The peer support program is something that's very vital, and so we got a team together. Our team consists of all retired and current firefighters, and got to the training, the required training. So peer support training, well, basically advanced, as well as diffusing and debriefing. So what that is after a critical incident, whether it be a traffic accident with fatalities, any incident that has got to affect people, we come in, we have a licensed clinician with the team. We come in and talk about the incident, and give these folks help get that, what they see, what they saw, what they felt off their chest, and give them some extra support. It is, when we put this team together, yes, we are helping some individuals with that. Can give you the numbers of what, that be confidentiality, but we are at. So with that, we got the training, the teams together. So in order to kick this off and kind of get an awareness of the mental health issue, the Hook and Ladder Company is bringing in an individual by the name of Travis House. Travis is a nationwide speaker. I've seen him at the cross and the city and we together. And I forgot to introduce Eric. Eric is one of our city employees, city fire captains that are on the team. He's also the foreman of the Hook and Ladder Company. So we're bringing Travis in. He is probably one of the most motivating speakers that I've ever heard. This guy is very upfront, in your face about mental health issues. He has experienced this himself and just getting the word out. So Mark Wilkie, our high authority, will be there from 9 to 11. So with that, what we're doing is we're going around to community groups, get them involved. We do have a Blue Country Rotary, businesses that are involved that have sponsored tickets. So with the sponsorship to this event, what we have is the profit level go from $250 up to $2,500. That includes a ticket or 10 tickets on $2,500 level. And those tickets, what they're used for is they're given to first responders in the area. So if we have small departments that really can't afford to send or can't afford to tickets, whatever the reason is, we'll be able to provide them tickets so they can come. So that's kind of the short version of what we got going on. Any questions?
This diagnosis of post-traumatic stress, does that qualify you to be put in the category of being disabled?
Yeah.
As an off the job?
Yes.
Where is the firefighter, the union that you belong to, is it going up and down to help on this stuff? Do they give you the reassurances of what to do? Is
Sure, the union side. So on the union side, the IFF and CPF, other local jurisdictions on the union, we have a lot of support on the international jurisdiction environment. CPF, California, everyone knows these things. If you can go out on, if an individual decides to, that they've had enough, their mental crisis, they can go out on work comp. They can apply for the work comp. Going for a work comp on mental health is a very, very long process. Very long process. You have to see multiple positions. Speaking personally, it's really hard for us to gain the trust of this outside person for the issue that it takes 2 or 3, 4 visits before we have to start opening up. You go on the mental health aspect, you go on the health side of it, you're assuming these people that really have no personal value to you, I guess I can say. Long story short, these clinics cost upwards of $5 to $10. Even such as $41.10 to the firefighters. We have small coffers that, yes, we will help support our brother specific community, but we can't come out and work on the whole client and on answering the IFF CPF, they do work very strongly and very, very strong components of yeah, the meeting is very people say it's not only critical thing. You know, one thing to be vigilant long. There's a lot of God. It's going out. And we're reaching them. It's kind of how you know what's going on. Things like that. Which we're talking to you and it's called you find it. We're talking. That's what. But I was involved in fire condition. There was no training.
or deal with a complex situation if you begin wouldn't do that. This is one that right? Now I think involved with is taking students to the side of the family on the spectrum. And not the extent to really be isolated, not get out of it. And then we build upon that. There's a case of more without the same high and the peak and anything to where most important individuals becoming up in fact. In some departments, but some of the vacation that, but you're in a position no, it's not easy. Really not.
Thirty-two minutes past the top of the hour, 7:32 a.m. Well, it looks like maybe our audio issues have returned here. Sounds very muffled. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the national feed here, and we'll see if we can get this sorted out. See if we can come back to the meddlers meeting. See if we can get this all figured out. Hang on, stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
Singing "Row, row, row your boat" in Italian while clinging to the side of the ship.
And with the radio station and the RAB, I can find out who buys party supplies, when they buy, how much they spend, everything that'll get my product really close to the consumer.
Well, like that's important.
What?
Nothing. Okay, close. Dawn, Cape Canaveral, a rocket launches into space. Super for a party that's out of this world.
Please don't take this personally.
Radio, up close, personal. Call the station. We can partner with you to deliver advertising that gets results.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids are facing hunger every day? Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Thank you!
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Check out the Garden Goddesses here on the Voice of the Foothills Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Erlene Freeman and Cindy Davis will bring you up to speed on all the latest news and help your garden grow.
Row by row, someone bless.
It's the Garden Goddesses, Saturdays at 8 a.m. here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
104.5 KAHI
For you, from Joe Thomas, it's First Thing Today.
It is time. The notebook is open. The rings have been opened so that new sheets of loose leaf can be laid in by the chimney with care. And he's got notes for us. He's got notes. Believe me, any performer understands somebody's going to have notes for you. Brought to you by the Lunch Pail Foundation, started years ago to help kids win. That is not just win, but what's important now. School, scholarships. Find out more at lunchpaildefense.org. Pardon me. Good morning, Mac McDonald. How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing fine. You sound chipper on this Tuesday.
I always thought of myself more like John Smoltz than chipper.
Than chipper? Okay.
What, too soon? Anyway.
Okay, by the way, that gets the bell. Okay, part one of a two-part series. Don't know why. It's just middle of the week, and we're playing catch-up, and I'm catching all kinds of things and finding stuff. And former Virginia assistant and head coach at Virginia Tech, Long Beach State, South Florida. ESPN Seth Greenberg took to social media to make a 4.5-minute statement on the state of college basketball. So he has got some great things to say, and John Calipari follows it, which I will have tomorrow. So I decided, okay, a two-part series. All right, first for Seth. He outlined several points in talking about how coaches in today's game, D1 of course, can survive. Number one, it's not a level playing field when it comes to the men's D1 college basketball game. It's just not. Live with it. 2, evaluation is the most important part of recruiting. Okay, we've heard that before. And 3, and Seth talked about the agents. Seth explained that agents aren't going away, and building a solid roster takes time and money.
What you need to understand, whether they're good agent, bad agent, what value does that player have? What value does he have in relation to the amount of money that you have to build your roster? And I think that's really as simple as it gets. You need to put a value on each and every player that you have in your program, and then you need to basically know when to hold and know when to fold them.
And I'm just going to elevate this to the boardroom. If you're driving to work today and you've got a sales meeting before the end of the year, or, hey, you're planning first quarter or whatever, just think about this for a little bit. 4, player development is still an optimum. If you've got that young guy sitting in a cubicle, playing Nerf hoop because he's got the basket in his cubicle, you might want to just bring him in for a quick meeting. International players are not difference makers, according to Seth. However, the really good international guys are in it for the paycheck. So be ready for it, okay? Number 5, tampering. It's a way of life, and mostly from the agents. If one of your players is being poached, a coach should call the school and communicate. That's what Seth Greenberg feels is the guardians of the game and what they would want.
And you don't have to, coaches don't need to tamper because the agents are going to tamper for you. But if you get contacted by an agent regarding a player, I think as a coach, it's your obligation to pick up the phone, at least call that other school and say, hey, Coach X, I just got this call from so-and-so's agent. I just wanted to let you know we're going to either A, be interested in that player, or B, just wanted to give you a heads up.
Yeah, so if you're sitting around, if you're running a car dealership, okay, you're the GM and you're running a car dealership and you got all these sales that you are telling today in a meeting that, yes, you will be working New Year's Day because New Year's Day does have to, and it's one of the best football days. I don't want to rub it in, but it's one of the best football days we've seen in quite some time after Miami and Ohio State on Wednesday night. But if you're sitting around, and if another car dealership knows that, they're calling salesman A, well, you might want to just get on the phone and go, okay, I happen to know that you're trying to poach my top sales guy. Why? But that's what you have to deal with. So the state of the college game can be fixed. And now I'm talking basketball. I'm not talking about the 1,200 football guys who are already in the portal, as I talked about yesterday. So the state of the college game is in pretty good shape. Tomorrow, though, John Calipari's got the answer on how to fix everything with one simple move. That's a tease. I can't tease it any better than tomorrow. So anyway, there you go. 3 bowl games today as we get ready for, we got Coastal Carolina in Shreveport against Louisiana Tech. It's the Independence Bowl. One of my favorite places when we were on the top of the stadium because they didn't have room for us. I was with Wake Forest. It was Bill Dooley's last game. It was at Virginia Tech. We almost got blown off the roof. Tennessee and Illinois square off. A quick memory. Tennessee and Illinois in Nashville in the Music City. That was always a fun one. 5:30. And USC meets TCU in the Alamo Bowl at 9 o'clock. So
they still play that in San Antonio. I remember.
The Alamo. Valero. They got all that oil money down there. So it's there. It's the football version of Landman, actually. So that's why it's
Does Billy Bob Thornton keep his clothes on in this one? Please. Exactly. Spoilers. More ways.
Are you
than
watching
one.
that series? Are
No,
you
I
watching
haven't. I'm an arbiter of pop culture, so I have to be aware of things Billy Bob Thornton doing something we've never asked Billy Bob Thornton to do before, and I hope he never does again.
It's the oil version, and it has its saucy moments, but it's the oil version of Sopranos. And I am what's the word? I'm wrapped around it mentally. I'm involved. Secure.
It's nice to see places like Tulsa, and I guess Landman is taking place in West Texas, and places like that getting some of the run instead of L.A. and California.
And Tulsa King, But Taylor Sheridan is ridiculous, and what he writes, and all the actors and actresses, they're all saying. He writes better than anybody. He's just this guy and he appeared in Yellowstone. Taylor Sheridan was riding horses and having fun. But he's iconic now. With what he's doing and what he's churning. Anyway, not to get off on the the whole TV.
No, it is what it is. But I liked his points. Greenberg about the agents co-opting the players because that's what you want them for, but what does it tell a coach? Hey, this guy already wants to bail on the season.
Well, just picture it how different it is. You bring it, you're coach, you've got and you have to bring a kid into your office before practice. It's 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, and you got a big game coming up, like with Virginia Tech or whatever it might be. And you bring in a player and go, by the way, your agent called me today. And I know you're looking for a raise. That $10,000 a month is just not doing it for you. And we tried to get you the apartment, and we arranged for you to get that car. So I'm sorry that's not doing it for you. But if you're thinking about going to Clemson instead of staying here, and I just picked school ABC. I'm not, it's just kind of the standard. But the conversations now, Tony Bennett, they all the guys. And I am out of here. And somebody ripped Izzo the other day on social media talking about he doesn't develop anybody for the pros. Hey, Tom Izzo doesn't want to. He wants to develop people for Michigan State.
Right.
It's not about the next level.
He's not being paid by the Chicago Bulls as a minor league manager.
Yeah,
but that's what the way these leagues.
The big problem is G League now. The G League guys are going, okay, I have a chance to pick up 120. I'm making 50,000 a year in the G League. I got a chance to pick up 120 if I go to San Jose State. So it's so, it doesn't do any good to talk about this like every week, which I do. I'm not proving a thing. I'm just bringing to the table that it's just such a different view.
There was a story here in Harrisonburg. Apparently, Tulane released the statistics on how much money they made playing
James. From the CFP?
From the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
And so the first question for the AD at James Madison was, well, how much did you make? Because everybody's always got the microscope out. And he's like, we haven't finished the accounting on that yet. But it gave the reporters a chance to point out that the highest, what do they call it, activities fees? In Division
Student
I,
activities,
in Division I football is James Madison University.
How about that?
But that's how you build a program: is you get the other students to pay for it.
Joe, I think Whit Babcock, the AD at Virginia Tech, he brought that to the board. As a matter of fact, he stood up to the board and said, "Do you realize JMU student activities fee is higher than ours?" Yeah, that was that was part of that 230.
But that went
million,
into the bigger stadium and the bigger facilities and the bigger recruiting and everything else. So
anyway, tomorrow
gotta
part
crack
2,
some eggs.
fixing the portal. Thank you, John Calipari. So part 2 of our 2-part series.
All right, very good, Mac. Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
FM 104.5 KAHI and AM 950 KAHI.
Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. ABT has been in business since 2001, and we are thrilled to have been voted Auburn's best plumbing company and best heating and cooling company in Auburn Journal's Best of Auburn promotion. We're very proud to have placed as runner-up in electrical category as well. Our technicians are experienced and friendly. If you have an issue with your plumbing, need a whole house generator, or maybe your furnace isn't working, give ABT a call. Reach us at 530-230-9004 for excellent service. It really is as easy as ABT.
Placer Farm Supply is celebrating 75 years serving our community. It was wonderful to see everyone who came to our Customer Appreciation Day. For those of you that could not attend, we are still running specials on diamond lemon rice and alfalfa hay. We are welcoming spring with our new garden center, including flowers, herbs, vegetables, soil, and adorable pots. Stock up on your supplies for your flock and pick up some baby chicks. They are sure to go fast with all the demand, so come down soon. Supply is limited. Placer Farm Supply for all your farming and ranching needs.
This is Jana from Jana Johnston Photography. I advertise on KAHI Radio because it helps me reach people throughout the foothills who are looking for the best pictures to capture their memories that will last a lifetime. Whether it's a wedding, engagement, graduation, or celebrating a newborn, KAHI Radio connects me with my target audience like only radio can. Thanks, KAHI.
To advertise your business on KAHI Radio, contact the KAHI sales staff at 530-885-5636 today.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
If food rules your life, call Overeaters Anonymous. Get help and support from a group that understands. Weekly meetings are on Wednesday at 10 a.m. at Unity of Auburn, 1212 High Street. There are no weigh-ins, dues, or fees, but donations are accepted. For more information, call Sherry at 530-921-8028 or go to OA.org. OA includes all eating disorders.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
The Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show.
Weekdays from 1 to 4 on the Voice of the Foothills.
Hi, I'm Jamie Markley, the Gen Xer.
I'm David Van Camp, the Millennial.
And me, Scott Robbins, the Boomer.
Check out the Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show weekdays 1 to 4.
We talk about everything that's going on in the world.
And we make fun of it all.
3 generations coming together to make sense of it all.
And have some fun at the same time.
And see how much we can tweak Robbins.
Gosh dang it.
The Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins Show.
Weekdays from 1 to 4 on the Voice of the Foothills.
FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
California headline news, gas prices dropping by 30 cents here over the past month following a national trend. Back to Tom with Gas Buddy says demand has been slower.
As we get into warmer weather, eventually
We'll start transitioning back to cleaner, more expensive blends of gasoline for the summer. Not only that, but refinery maintenance, which starts in late winter, will reduce supply.
Prices in California averaging $4.27 a gallon, 44 cents higher than the national average. A 33-year-old woman now charged in a hit-and-run incident in Manhattan Beach back in May that killed an 18-year-old. LA County DA Nathan Hochman hoping Braun Levy's death prompts lawmakers to pass tougher restrictions on repeat DUI offenders like Jania Reschabelt. We are now going to take this battle into the streets against these people up to Sacramento. Belt has a prior history of drunk driving, facing 15 years to life if convicted. Singer David likely to face murder charges now for the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas, a grand jury hearing the case. Jeff Scott, California News.
Getting more as a MyLowe's Pro Rewards member is easier than ever with the Lowe's app. Download it today and earn 500 points the first time you log in. Plus, your digital wallet helps you scan, save, earn, and access what you need to manage it all in one place. Download the Lowe's app and take advantage of your Pro benefits today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid 12/1/25 through 1/7/26. Offer valid for first login per organization only. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday. Let's do this Monday. ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Is the sound of thousands of savage choices.
From the home of the First Amendment, first thing today.
What, me? Thank you for letting us be of service to you this morning. 434-882-4217 is the phone number. Text messages as well. I know that's a lot easier. Emails come into jtinthemorningradio on gmail.com. Matt writes into that email address talking about lying as a rule. And this is one of the things, pardon the naivete, but if somebody tells you here's what you're going to do and you have to lie to do it, given that one of the essential principles of our society is thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, why would you join anything, whether it be a political movement, a religious movement, or whatever, that says, well, tell the truth to us, but you can lie to other people? What does that say about it? I mean, never mind just the base morality of it, but what does it say about what you're doing? It's the old thing I used to tell my kids: if you can't imagine yourself doing it in front of mom and dad, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Now, to be fair, that works on a 7 or 8 year old. Once they get up to be about 18 or so, there are a lot of things they couldn't imagine doing in front of mom and dad, nor do mom and dad want them imagining such things, because that's creepy. But on the subject of lying to the people, Matt Kelly writes into me, Joe, you don't have to lie to people anymore once they're in the boxcars. Oh, Matt. But it's getting them into the boxcars first. That's the hard part, is getting them into that, and that's where the lying comes in. That's where, you have to get your crystal knocked on, so that because as you mentioned, the boxcars, obviously a reference to the German Jewish community and the Holocaust. That first batch of Jewish folks were refugees. They were leaving to get out of the way of this violence. They weren't prisoners yet. That's not until they got to the concentration camp that they realized, no, it's all to keep you safe. It's all to keep you safe. Just like Australians said about the folks who wouldn't take the dodgy COVID shots. It's just to keep you safe here in the camp. You want to hear what it sounds like when somebody hits all the branches on the Marxist tree on the way down? So Jessica Tarlov, Fox News Channel, and here's what happens. See how the narrative is spun. If you work for Fox News Channel, you are a right-wing MAGA commentator, regardless of what your beliefs are. I presume that means Scott Jennings isn't because he works for CNN. I don't know. But their world, they get to tell you what color the sky is in it. So the headline is, right-wing reporter turns on Nick Shirley. But before Jessica Tarlov, and we've played some of that clip. That's not the point here. Jessica Tarlov holds a master class here in everything that is wrong in conservative media. Let's call it that. What you're consuming right now. You come here looking for us to break down the stories of the day in the best way possible. And just a little stress test, Jessica Tarlov, confronted with the fraud going on in Minnesota, defends some of Tim Walz's administration.
The program that he was talking about that you referenced, Kellyanne, is school lunches, which I've seen no fraud about that kids go to school and they get lunch as they should. Okay. Yes, school lunch is a good thing. Sometimes breakfast too, even.
No, it's not. You know, it's and actually, you know, making sure kids have something to eat is not a bad thing prescriptionally. But the fact that such large swaths of a city's population don't make enough money to pack a bag lunch with a bologna sandwich in it is the problem, not the existence of school lunch. But understand there's a couple of ways they do the phony baloney math, too. So in order to qualify for school lunches, you have to make, I think it's 150% of federal poverty level. Which is, I think, $15,000 a year. So we'll do a little, you know, everyone loves this. This is high wire act here. So if 15 grand is, so it's $22,000 in a year. If you make 22,000, roughly $430 a week, you qualify for free lunch at your local school. Often free breakfast. Now they've even begun feeding free dinners. And this is the bigger problem, is that, you know, making sure kids have something to eat, not a problem, Jessica. It's when you have now established that the government will take care of your children for you. That's a Rubicon that you've crossed, that good luck crossing it back. But at some point, the money will run out. And things like school lunches and stuff like that, that somebody that a conservative will turn to and say, well, I'm going to watch Fox News because I'm a conservative. And there's Jessica Tarlov saying, oh, school lunches are great. School breakfast, school dinners. No, the existence of them is horrific. The need for them is mind-blowing. And I know that's, oh, Joe, you're just being harsh because you're just trying to get clicks or whatever. I'm not. These are this is the mission creep that goes on. Oh, there are poor kids, so let's make sure there's some school lunches for them. Oh, okay, so now we have school lunches, but now we need more kids in the school lunch program because now we're going to get a subsidy from the federal government, so we need more kids in the school lunch program. So it's expand what it means. All the while taxing and regulating the businesses out of existence. We're about to swear in a new governor here in our flagship state. And one of the things that her opponent campaigned on is getting rid of property tax. And that's not like the tax where your house is. It's, I have a $400 or $500 laptop. I have to pay taxes on it. You know when I bought it? 4 years ago, but I'm still paying taxes on it. And if you're a business, all the equipment that is in your business, they still come after that for taxes. So all that tax money goes in, and then they mix it around and try to pay for kids' school lunch. Meanwhile, the jobs that mom and dad might have had have left the state.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medishare that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medishare is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medishare is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medishare isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus on supporting other people.
Medishare is affordable.
Medishare is biblical. Medishare is family.
Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40.
FM 104.5, K283CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
Wake up, it's Chris in the morning light on KAHI. Your day starts right. Foothill news and a smile or two with a dad joke, fresh and the weather too. He's the voice of the hills, keeping it real. Local talk with hometown feel, so grab your coffee.
Here we go.
Don't hit snooze. It's Chris in the morning with your
That's right, and good Tuesday morning to you. It is December 30th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. 8 a.m. What hour is it? Jeez, 8 a.m. Here we go. Keep track, Chris. It's that week between Christmas and New Year, right? What even day of the week is it right now? What hour is it? 8 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down. A beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, very, very spacious, and nice and toasty warm Studio A, KAHI Studios, downtown Auburn. Peering through the Venetian blinds. Gang, it is chilly out there. So if you are heading outside, just stepped outside for just a little bit. It is brisk, so layer up if you're heading out before the sun. Sun's going to warm it up a little bit here, but it's still going to be a colder one today, and it looks like we've got rain in the forecast. Hopefully some more snow up in there in the Sierras here. We'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit. But as we're getting started on this Tuesday, hope you're having a fantastic day today. If not, there's still a lot more of the day to come, so still a lot of chances for it to improve on this National Resolution Planning Day. So if you're the type that plans for New Year's resolutions, well then, my gosh, today is your day to do it. Now, it got me thinking, Mary Jane and I think we were talking about this on Friday. I think we're very like-minded in that New Year's resolutions, okay. It's been there, done that, tried it. I think we all kind of do the things like, oh, this year's going to be different. I'm going to make it. Okay. And I said, so I went on the Google machine and said, what are some non-traditional New Year's resolutions? Maybe some ideas to maybe go a little bit against the grain. And so this one was like anti-resolutions. Maybe this year commit to not doing something. I'm like, okay, well, that's not a bad idea. Like constantly saying yes or scrolling on social media. Maybe we don't do that. Focus on a feeling, maybe not a goal or result. Exercise to feel good, not to look a certain way. Read for enjoyment, not for productivity. I think those are easy enough tips that we can take there. Some other things might be around experience or learning. Relationships and connection. Maybe this year, you call instead of send a text message more often than not, or at least not only just send text messages, call every now and again. Write letters, send handwritten notes or postcards. Now, there's an idea. That's maybe not again, this is getting on, am I really going to do this? But maybe it's just some ideas of like something that we can just work into our regular routine and not just have to make it a resolution, a New Year's resolution. Although it is good to reset and, basically take assessment at the end of the year into the new year. But maybe let's not defeat ourselves and get ourselves down just because I'm like, oh, I'm the worst. I can't keep my resolution. But let's just give ourselves some attainable goals and not even call them goals. Just do it because it feels a little bit better to just exercise just because I want to feel better, not because I'm trying to hit a certain benchmark or something like that. Maybe this year we're kinder to ourselves. Talk to yourself with kindness. Let go of grudges or forgive yourself for mistakes. Yeah, I saw this the other day. Like, we talk to ourselves worse than we would talk to oftentimes a complete stranger. We treat ourselves. Why do we treat ourselves so bad? Maybe because we expect so much of ourselves. So maybe this year, let's be a little bit kinder to ourselves and practice gratitude. Always a good time to do this, no matter if it's in the new year or in the middle of the year. Practice gratitude. Write down one good thing daily or keep a journal. My sister-in-law did this thing, and we were all sitting around having a family dinner a couple of weeks back, and she said, hey, let's do this thing. It's called High-Low Buffalo. If you want to adapt it, there's no trademark on this. Feel free to adapt it. I loved it. What's a high that you experienced today? What's a low from today? What's maybe a learning opportunity that we can learn from today? And then Buffalo. What's a wild card? What's just some funny or crazy or interesting thing that happened today? So it really sparks that conversation around the dinner table. Maybe you have your own version of that. Let me know. 530-885-3565 or live at KAHI.com. Would love to know that. While you're emailing or calling in, if you've got a dad joke, a daily dad joke, let's do it around the New Year's. Go ahead and send that in now. Plus, I got a couple of extras here. I got one from Terry, and let's see, who's the other one from? Carla so far. So thanks so much for sending those in. As, again, we're talking about this National Resolution Planning Day. Maybe just kind of keep doing what you're doing. For me, I've shared this before, but my thing is, you know what? I'm just going to keep on that train of trying to learn Japanese. My son over in Japan right now, doing his things. He just moved to his next host family home. He was at a temporary house just for a couple weeks there, and texted my wife and I a picture from his new room, looking out onto, basically it looks like the town square there. I don't know why the app isn't letting me in here. There we go. Let's try that again. So there we go. He said, moved houses today. Here's a view from my new room, and it's basically gray skies. And it looks like just like the other houses that he's been around, but it said it's a 40-minute walk to school now. And I said, oh, do you have to walk to school every day, or do they drive you? Because he's in where it's going to be about 10 feet of snow is where they average there, about 8 to 10 feet of snow. So it doesn't look like there's any snow on the ground right now. But son, take some public transportation if you can. Please don't be walking out if it's that cold out. If you don't have to, if not, bundle up. But yeah, really, really cool to see what's going on with him, and just trying to learn some Japanese. So Duolingo is definitely not a sponsor of the show, by the way. I wouldn't be mad if they wanted to be. Duolingo definitely gives me the reminders every day to make sure that I'm keeping up my streak there to try and learn Japanese. I got to tell you, learning some of these characters, oh my gosh. Maybe it's just because I'm a little bit older in life, but I'm trying to find, it's funny how our brain tries to associate shapes and sounds together. And so my brain's doing everything I can to make the association between the sound and the shape of the characters in the Japanese language. It definitely, I love it because it's a mental exercise every day. We exercise our bodies every day, but let's also make sure that we're exercising our minds as well. So whatever you're doing, maybe you've got something going, just keep it up for the new year. Let's make it easier on ourselves this year. It's been exhausting enough as it is. Also, today is Bacon Day. So if you've got some bacon, yeah, we've got some leftover bacon. That reminds me, I should probably cook it up when I get home today on this Bacon Day. And Falling Needles Family Fest Day. Gosh, I'm sure that means something to somebody, but there we go. Hey, let's get to the important stuff. If today is your birthday, well then happy stinking birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic day today. If you were born today, share a birthday with Bo Diddley, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. 1928. By the way, just a spoiler here. Lots of singer and songwriters born on December 30th. Let me tell you. Skeeter Davis, American singer, songwriter, 1931. Let's see. Del Shannon, American singer, songwriter, 1934. Jack Riley, American actor, 1935. Paul Stokey, American singer, songwriter. Is it Stokey? 1937. I feel like I should know that name. Michael Nesmith, American singer-songwriter. I think he was one of the Monkees. Fun fact, by the way, he was born in 1942. Fun fact, by the way, I was watching this behind-the-scenes things, or this fun fact things about, you remember the show Happy Days, the Fonz, Henry Winkler? Turns out, I think he was the drummer on the Monkees. He was originally one of the guys in the lead for the role as the Fonz, but turns out, when standing next to Ron Howard, he was a little too tall, and so in strolls Henry Winkler, and forever known as the Fonz. I'll never forget that, especially back in the day doing theater. I remember being there in an audition. You're in the final kind of auditions. There's you and a bunch of other guys that can play the same role, and everybody's standing up on stage there, director, producers there. It's just like, okay, so-and-so stand next to so-and-so. Okay, so-and-so move over there. Okay, Chris, you move over there, stand next to so-and-so. And it was just this shuffle game of trying to match up and match things up. And you're wondering, am I even in contention if I'm standing next to this person? I saw how they read the script. I don't even know if I'm being considered for this show anymore. But boy, is it a subjective thing when trying to cast any sort of acting gig. Pretty interesting how it goes. Let's see, Davy Jones, English singer, songwriter, the Monkey. Do we have two Monkees born on the same day? 1945. Let's see, Patti Smith, American singer, songwriter, poet, 1946. Jeff Lynne, English singer, songwriter, 1947. Tracy Ullman, English American actress, 1959. Sean Hannity, American radio and television host, 1961. And Tiger Woods, golfer, yeah, that Tiger Woods, 1975. Lots today, so happy birthday to them, and happy birthday to you if today is your birthday. Hope you have a fantastic day today. Oh, by the way, Jackie, thanks so much for calling in. Jackie called in during the last hour. She said, hey, I gotta know, I told the story the other day of how my mom sent us a check. It's my mom's worst nightmare to send something, a check in the mail. And thanks so much, Mom, for the Christmas gift. But somehow it got lost. And her worst fear came true. This check never came. She's like, "Are you teasing me? Are you kidding?" I was like, "Mom, Scout's honor here. It is. I cannot find it." So again, we touched base yesterday, looked all over again, couldn't find it, and so Mom put a stop on the check there. So unfortunately, the check, it was lost in the mail. We'll just say that. Put a stop on the check. Jackie was like, I got to know what's happening. Thanks, Jackie, for the reminder to basically tie a bow on that story there. So apparently Mom says a new check is in the mail. She said, I'm tracking this one. So I sent it certified. So we'll make sure you're going to have to sign for it when it gets there. So thanks, Mom, for doing take two on that. Sorry we had to put a stop on that first one. Ain't cheap. Golly, to put a stop on a check, that is kind of expensive to do that. So thanks, Mom, for going through all the hassle and the rigmarole. Appreciate that. All right, 11 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:11 a.m. He's been waiting patiently. He's like, that's great about your mom. How about we get to the weather? All right, meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
Tuesday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies today in the low 50s and very light winds. Clouds will increase overnight in the low 40s for the temperature. We're going to go into a wet weather pattern later Wednesday into Wednesday night and Thursday, New Year's Day. Cloudy with occasional rain. Highs will be around 50 during the day and about 45 at night. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thanks, Tim. 12 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:12 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have more events for the calendar. Also, our Fox Business Report. Stay tuned. Back with more after this.
Do numbers tell us what lies ahead in our lives? Let's check it out on Pop Talk. Want to know yourself? Perhaps we need to take a look in the mirror to really discover ourselves. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. When you know yourself, then perhaps you can head to the evolution of a new consciousness that will amaze you. Pop Talk takes us to new consciousness, Saturday 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday 9 to 11 p.m., and 24/7 at KAHI.com.
It's time to live better at CAC Fit at 2514 Bell Road in the Crossroads Shopping Center. Whether your fitness goals are to lose weight, gain weight, functional training, or recovery, they've got you covered with customized training programs, fitness classes, hydro massages, and more. Open 7 days a week with 24/7 access. Stop by CAC Fit at 2514 Bell Road in the Crossroads Shopping Center. Call 530-885-1964 or online at cacfit.com.
And the Sundance final scene sets the hills.
I love California. I love the mountains. I love the sunsets. I love the foothills. Oh, speaking of which, join me every Saturday at 8 p.m. for Rewind, featuring the stars you grew up with. Oh, by the way, my name is Jimmy J. We've been doing this for a long time. If you haven't heard the show yet, check it out. This Saturday, 8 p.m., Rewind on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950, KAHI.
13 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:13 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Placerville. Currently, it is 40 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 58 degrees. Yeah, it is chilly out there. Make sure you're layering up when you head outside. All right, let's turn it over now, as we do, to the Fox Business Report.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
There's fresh data in on the housing market this morning with the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Home Price Indices showing annual growth in home prices continued to slow in October. Student loan debt increasingly is getting wiped away by bankruptcy, according to a new study which says recent analysis that the vast majority of student debtors who seek discharges in bankruptcy are getting them, in part because of a simpler legal process that was introduced 3 years ago. Borrowers have an 87% success rate in dismissing most or all of their loans in bankruptcy, according to the study by a professor at the University of Utah's S.J. Quinney College of Law. That's up from 61% in 2017 and more than double the rate nearly 2 decades ago. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here, reporting live from the frozen tundra outside Studio A. Meanwhile, Chris is in there living his best life. Hot cocoa in hand, Christmas sweater glowing brighter than the dang Rockefeller tree, probably listening to Bing Crosby on repeat. Me? I'm just out here tossing another chunk of coal into the KAHI stove and hoping Santa brings me central heating. But I'll give the guy credit. Chris in the morning really is the best way to start your day. Tune in Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. on FM 104.5, AM 950, or streaming around the world at KAHI.com. Now if I can just get him to share one of those sugar cookies.
Still hanging on to the sugar cookies. 16 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:16 a.m. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. This one is called Wayfinder. Cinema at the State presents Wayfinder. That's going to be on Thursday, January 8th at 7 p.m. That's going to be at the Oddfellows Lodge number 7 at 1226 and a half Lincoln Way here in Auburn. What is Wayfinder? Well, I'll tell you what Wayfinder is. It's a breathtaking snowboard odyssey through Lake Tahoe's rugged, untouched backcountry, which showcases the raw talent and creative vision of pro snowboarder Curtis Woodman. Beyond the stunning visuals, Wayfinder follows a deeply personal journey of self-discovery and resilience, reflecting Woodman's reconnection with snowboarding and finding his way through whatever life throws at him. There's going to be a Q&A with the filmmaker. Turns out the filmmaker is Curtis Woodman, and that's going to be following the film there, plus exciting bonus features. Now, this is self-filmed using cutting-edge drone technology. Woodman captures every heart-pounding descent and stylish maneuver with unparalleled intimacy, immersing viewers in the pristine beauty of the Sierra Nevada's powder-laden peaks, steep chutes, and dramatic cornices. Wayfinder is more than a snowboarding film. It's a testament to finding one's path through passion, nature, and perseverance. So again, it's going to be Wayfinder Thursday, January 8th. So coming up here pretty quick, and it's going to be at 7 o'clock at the Oddfellows Lodge, number 7, 12265 Lincoln Way here in Auburn. Tickets online at auburnstatetheater.org, or you can call the box office 530-885-0156. $12 for adults, $10 for seniors and kids under 11. Runtime is going to be about 2 hours and 30 minutes. Wayfinder happening at the Oddfellows Lodge on January 8th at 7 p.m. Tickets online, auburnstatetheater.org, or 530-885-0156. Back with more right after this.
Because KAHI cares. Here's another KAHI Community Bulletin Board.
The American Cancer Society Discovery Shop needs your donations of new and gently used merchandise. Items include clothing, jewelry, bric-a-brac, home decor, and more. Donations are tax deductible and support cancer patients locally and nationwide. They also need volunteers daily. The Discovery Shop is located at 2376 Grass Valley Highway in Auburn. For more information, call 530-888-7434.
18 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:18 a.m. Coming back at our next segment at the bottom of the hour, Daily Dad Jokes. That's right, we had to push it because of the Meddlers meeting in the 7 o'clock hour. Boy, we were on the struggle bus with that one. Had some audio issues this week. Hopefully it'll be better the next time we meet for the Meddlers meeting. We're going to head back now to JT in the morning. I'll see you back here at the bottom of the hour for your Daily Dad Jokes.
Seriously. If you're looking at a map of Virginia, Bryce Reeves represents an area that is lovingly referred to as Fred Vegas. It is the southern suburbs where all the, if they're not already messing in politics, they are. This is where they live in the southern suburbs in Virginia because, gosh, Maryland's just too expensive for some of these folks to live in. But that Fredericksburg area around Virginia and that northern Virginia area, yeah, there's a conservative there, and he has lived to tell the tale for it. Bryce, we were talking about the incoming administration, and one of the sidebars to the story, I think, is that you said that you were suspending and getting out of the Senate race, U.S. Senate race, but you were going to stay in the Virginia Senate, and the institutional recognition of somebody who is a conservative but is in an area that most people say is blue, and then just for variety's sake, blue. Is important too, because I'm sure there are the political nose counters that would say it's going to be hard for a Republican to win that seat if Bryce was blessedly successful at winning the U.S. Senate race.
Well, and I heard from my constituents, Joe, about that as well. They'd love to see me in the U.S. Senate, but they certainly didn't want me leaving and vacating the seat, especially now that I have seniority and I actually can bring home some bacon. Orange County was without water for 14 days due to aging infrastructure, same with Greene County. And, working with Senator Deeds, we were able to collectively put together about $25 million for localities to go for grants to try to help alleviate some of that. That's what government's supposed to do, is help fix problems. Water is a need that everybody has to have. That's not a Republican or a Democrat. Yeah. And so, I love the job. I absolutely love the job. I get to where I hate politics a lot more today because of all the, excuse my language, the crap that you have to deal with. And quite frankly, some of the people that are just keyboard heroes just don't know you for anything. Like even with my situation of bowing out, they're making up this stuff, and it's just irritating as hell. And as much as I want to tell them, look, I've got a family member that's dying of cancer. Like I'm not bowing out because I'm afraid of Mark Warner or anything else. It's like I've got a need, and if you can't have enough respect for people like that, then hell with you. It's just irritating. But
and that's why I don't read anyone else's stuff. I have enough trouble putting my own stuff together. I listen to most 4 hours of my program. There are moments where I'm like, did I say that? But Bryce Reeves on with us. You overlapped some of Abigail Spanberger's congressional district, I believe, in your Senate district, or you were very close to it.
Right.
And at some point today, there's going to be a column posting at dailysignal.com. By the way, speaking of health, prayers out also to Bryce's mother-in-law, but to Victor Davis Hanson, who's stepping away. For at least a few months, I got to call him my coworker at the Daily Signal, so I can gain gravitas for circling his orbit. I penned a piece about stories I'm hearing, rumblings that Abigail Spanberger has become the darling of the 2028 set, that they're looking at J.B. Pritzker and the continued flagging poll numbers of Gavin Newsom, and they're like, hold it, this woman just won a seat that had been held by a Republican. It's a purple state. This might be our answer, and that she might govern. The warning I have is don't expect the veto pen to be thrown away this session, because I think, and I've been told by a lot of smart people, that she's going to govern moderately, and she might veto a lot of the nuttier stuff to put the planks under her towards a 2028 presidential run. Are you sensing that? Would you even be hopeful for that if that's the case, Bryce?
Well, I will tell you this, and I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek, Joe, but during this last year's session, she had made a visit down to Richmond and asked me if I was ready to go to work in her administration. I said, really? And she goes, well, I need a Secretary of Veterans Defense Affairs because, that's my wheelhouse. And I said, I'd love to, but I'd never be able to work in politics again after that. Because it's something near and dear to my heart. But lo and behold, we talked a little bit earlier offline. I think she's made a phenomenal appointment with who she's put into that position. Our former Adjutant General Tim Williams, who, led through several administrations as our Adjutant General in the National Guard with, almost 25,000 of our airmen and guardsmen forward in the theater. And, now he's going to be the Secretary, hopefully, if we can get him confirmed, of Veterans Defense Affairs. And, that's, people were beating on General Williams right away because Abigail appointed him. But, they don't know who the guy is. I do, and I'm happy to, and that's a great appointment. So,
well, and like
if
you
that's
said,
an
it's
indication,
mission.
I'm hopeful. Yeah,
it's mission. Yeah, it's like look out for the veterans in a state that's heavily veteran. Go figure. It's how it's supposed to work, and I hate to feel like, because a lot of people listening will say, "Oh, they're just catfishing you, Joe." They'll get you to think that, and then they'll bite your ankle. There with some gun grab and things like that. And I know you've been.
I think that's going to happen. Listen, those bills are coming back. And for everybody that doesn't think they will, they're going to come back because those members are still there. They're mad that the governor vetoed 400 some odd of their bills over all these years.
Yeah.
And those bills, if you think about a veto, ladies and gentlemen, that means it went through subcommittee, full committee, the floor, debate, passed one chamber, went to the other chamber, went through the same process, made it all the way to the governor's desk. And the governor had to use his big pen and veto it. Now, those bills are coming back. If you don't believe me, go look at the bills on VPAP or go look them up on the state website. They're there. They're going to be refiled, and they're going to come back. So there are going to be encroachments, just like we talked earlier on the whole abortion up until the time of birth. The redistricting is coming through. Yep. There was a bill that was filed about right to work, but Abigail's on record at the Virginia Free event saying she will not sign that bill. So, they're going to have their own internal struggles. Our thing is people need to wake up, and not wake up after session. It's coming. It's coming in the second Wednesday in January. We start session. Those bills will be filed or being dropped in the following couple of weeks. And if people really care, they need to engage.
Can people, speak out enough and help you sway that one or two Democrats in the Senate?
Absolutely, they have way more. They have way more influence than the hired guns, the lobbyists. If I have a constituent in my office that's sitting with me and telling me how this bill is going to impact their lives, that's way more than somebody who's getting paid $10,000 a month to come in and advocate for something else, because that's their job. But if somebody takes the time out of their day to come to Richmond, absolutely. And I would encourage, and I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, if there's a bill down there that affects you or your livelihood,
you got to come.
You need to speak up. You got to speak up.
Yeah, Bryce Reeves on with us this morning. First thing today on the Talk Media Network.
Business owners, are you paying high phone bills for old school systems and lousy service? StrongTel cuts your phone bills in half and turns every phone you own into a feature-rich business system. Sean Roddy, CEO of Hennings Brothers Drilling, had this to say: "We've been a StrongTel customer for over 10 years. It's great, and even includes an intercom with video to our equipment yard. I can watch live from anywhere with my smartphone. I'd recommend StrongTel to anyone. Never miss a customer call again with your StrongTel business system. StrongTel is a proud iTex partner and always welcomes your iTex dollars. You'll get award-winning StrongTel service, a business-class phone system, and cut your phone bill in half. So visit strongtel.com right now. That's StrongTel, StrongTel.com. It's StrongTel.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sandra Fay, President of the American Veterinary Medical Association. With record heat, wildfires, and hurricanes forecast this summer, how do we keep our pets safe? No matter where we live, the potential for natural or man-made disasters is a possibility, so preparation is key. First, make sure to have an evacuation plan mapped out in advance. Know where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. Next, put together a pet emergency kit with several days' food, medicine, a first aid kit, and other essential items. Make sure your pets are microchipped with updated contact information in case you get separated. And be sure to have your pet's vaccination and medical records, plus contact info for your vet and pharmacy. If you need help on how to prepare, reach out to your veterinarian's office. And for more information, visit avma.org/disaster.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is December 30th. It is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:30 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Lake of the Pines. Currently 40 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 57 degrees. All right, it's that time. It is time for your daily dad jokes. That's right, make you laugh, sigh, roll your eyes, for you're like, wait a minute. This isn't the 7 o'clock hour. Hang on a second. Well, no, because we had the meddlers meeting. I got a little thrown off, but we throw it to the 8 o'clock hour on Tuesdays. How about some New Year's related dad jokes? But before we get to that, Terry had one in here. Let's take a look here, see what Terry had here. Terry, thanks for sending this one in. Where does the polar bear keep his money? Where does the polar bear keep his money? Well, in the snowbank, of course. Thanks, Terry. Where does the polar bear keep his money? In the snowbank. Oh, well done. All right, we got another one here. First time contributor here. Carla sent this one in here. Carla, thanks for sending this one in. 2 antennas got married. The wedding was okay, but the reception was incredible. That's awesome. 2 antennas got married. The wedding was okay, but the reception was incredible. There we go. All right, and as we're counting down to the new year here on New Year's Eve, how about this one? Celebrating the new year has got a lot of pros, but the biggest downside is the confetti. Oh, okay. All right. How about some other ones here? How about this one? A phone and a firework were arrested on New Year's. One was charged, the other was let off the hook. That's a solid one. All right, fair enough. And we'll finish up with this one. Why does the person who runs Times Square feel like a failure? Oh, that's sad. Well, why does the person who runs Times Square feel like a failure? He always drops the ball. There we go. And those are your daily dad jokes for this Tuesday, December 30th. As always, you can send yours live at KAHI.com or call 530-885-3565. We'll be back with your weather right after this.
Catch Sinatra and Friends Saturdays and Sundays right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Tuesday weather forecast is calling for mostly sunny skies today in the low 50s and very light winds. Clouds will increase overnight in the low 40s for the temperature. We're going to go into a wet weather pattern later Wednesday into Wednesday night and Thursday, New Year's Day. Cloudy with occasional rain. Highs will be around 50 during the day and about 45 at night. We'll keep you updated. This is meteorologist Tim Rout from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Thank you, Tim. 33 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:33 a.m. And gang, just like that, here we are, New Year's Eve, wrapping up for today. Again, if today is your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. Hope you have a fantastic day today. Boy, looking at the inbox here, I appreciate that, Ray, talking about my son moving to his new host family house there in Japan. 40-minute, he let us know it's a 40-minute walk from school, and Ray says if he does walk to school in the snow, make sure he takes the same route home as he takes to school. That way he can tell his kids he only had to go uphill one way barefoot. There we go. Classic, Ray. Thanks for sending that in. As we're wrapping up today, as always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself, and remember you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a great morning. I'll go back now to JT in the morning and see ya early tomorrow.
Don't stop caring.
Karen?
As long as you've got a voice, don't ever stop. Make our freedom shine longer. Spread your love all around. Build our friendships much stronger. And make every moment profound.
That's what we're here for here at 434-882-4217. And I appreciate you texting as well in there at 434-882-4217 is the phone number. This one on Jessica Tarloff. Jessica Tarloff and Harold Ford are the token liberals on the 5 on Fox. Yeah, I understand that. I understand what you're saying about Jessica Tarloff, but what happens is they say something on Fox and they immediately get the headlines, which, remember, the headlines have become nuttier than they've ever been because of AI. So now, in order to ring the bell on AI, people are writing crazier and crazier headlines, often that have little, if anything, to do with what is in the story. Hamp out on the Treasure Coast. No government is supposed to protect rights, not fix. No, government is supposed to protect rights, not fix problems. Well, but we have agreed on things like infrastructure. Talking about the water supply story we were just talking about on the air. So in communities that are close together, we have infrastructure, we have sewers, we have water treatment plants. And so somebody does need to administer those, and there is a faction of Hamp. Not to disagree with you, but if we are in a community together and have agreed that there are infrastructural things like paving the roads, what we allow is the problem is what we allow. Is when the mission creep comes over, and then when that doesn't go fast enough, that's when you see these libs go and hold my beer and start trying to redistrict California and places like that, because Texas was ordered by the courts to it. And Bryce Reeves on with us. Bryce, talk about this redistricting, in Virginia. Because if the Senate stops it, if you can knock out a senator that voted for it 4 years ago, then it's gone. It vanishes faster than you can say the Indiana redistricting or anything like that. But beyond that, I also look at what they're trying to do with these districts, stretching these massively Democrat majority districts all the way across the Commonwealth of Virginia to try to create big, massive, incontiguous districts. I use that word because it's in our Constitution, just as a reminder of this. To me, it makes these districts more winnable if you are out there working hard, because it's not a party registration. This is just D plus 20 around the Richmond area based on previous election results. You stretch that district all the way into Central Virginia, you've opened up the door for Republicans to represent Richmond and Fredericksburg, like yourself, in our congressional. Am I crazy to say that?
I think you're right. We have actually talked about some of those, but I think the greater implication in all of this, and no one's talking about, well, we are, those of us inside baseball, is just think of this. They talk about Congress taking it down 10-1, right? That's what they're talking about, right. Congress right now.
Yeah, the congressional.
But the reality is, if I'm doing it, and I'm already know that people don't like what I'm doing, right? Why would I wait to do the House of Delegates and the state Senate? I'd pull the Band-Aid off all at once and take my licks and switch them all. So it's not going to be just Congress if I'm running the show. And I can't think that my Democrat colleagues haven't thought about this already, because there's some bright people there. But if they're going to do that, why wouldn't you just change the whole state in general and make the House of Delegates, the state Senate, and Congress all Democrats, so where it never gets undone again? I mean, so if people don't want that, then they need to make their voice heard. And I think it's not always the best government to have one party in charge of everything.
Well, let's ask Minnesota how that's been working for them.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, yeah. I appreciate it as always, Bryce. Prayers for your mother-in-law. And that's a terrible kind of cancer to try to beat, and I hope she's got.
Well, I'm glad you're still here, Joe. Let me tell you, you know what it's really like. You've been through it.
Well, it's good doctors and good family, and that's why we stand with you when you say that you this is more important than a U.S. Senate race, and I can't argue with that, because you're absolutely 100% right. But BryceReeves.com, give him an attaboy and say a prayer for his mother-in-law, and we love you, Bryce, and we'll talk to you again as the session gets starting, I hope.
Absolutely. We'll come on as much as you need us to get the word out, Joe. Happy to do it.
God bless you, sir. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
And some more texts coming in and emails on the subject of things we agree to have in the process in our communities, schools being one of them, as Sharon writes in here. You mean like public schools? Yeah, like public schools. But somewhere we allowed... And the corruption begins not just in the existence of a public school, but the idea that the public school has to be preferable to a parent-chosen school. And I go back far enough to where I recall that making these schools a showplace was the excuse for raising your taxes. And, it was like, well, we raised your taxes, but look at how great your schools are. It's flipped now. Now it's we need to raise your taxes to make these schools showplaces, and it is that corruption that allows bigger and bigger and bigger government to go in there. So when you say, well, why do we have to have a water supply situation? because we live in a cluster that makes it hard to have enough space in between each house to have them all on well service and a leaching field or a septic tank. And it doesn't have to be unpopulated. Gosh, when I was an adolescent, my parents were still connected to a septic tank in the city of New York. We weren't connected to the sewer. We found out the wrong way on a New Year's Day that having the guy out to pump the septic tank on New Year's Eve probably wasn't the best way to get him to pay the most attention, and pouring rain and a funnel going, and it's ugly. I still wake up. I can't smell rotten broccoli without having the eye twitch over it. But you have certain things, roads, U.S. Constitution sets up postal routes. So we have even a constitutional mandate to have roads interconnecting our communities. But the bigger you get, the less influence you have over that. And sure, you can say Chinatown and you can see the corruption in who controls the water supply, if you allow it to be that. And this is why we have to take our positions in local government as much as we do in state or federal government. I certainly don't want the U.S. government running, the sewer system in my home. I'm in a well now. But if you keep it local, then you keep it accessible, then you keep it to a place where you can control what it's doing, rather than just saying, well, the federal government will give us the money. That's why we've wound up in all this, is every one of our local little municipality water supply places are looking for federal money.
Hi, I'm Mark Falter with the Financial Fitness Show. Have you been keeping up on the big, beautiful bill? If you are over the age of 60, everything you thought you knew about taxes and tax preparation has just done a big shift. So if you want to get more information on how the big, beautiful bill applies to you, I welcome you to call and ask for the Tax Reform Kit. It's got several things in it pertaining to your taxes. A booklet titled Take Charge of Your Taxes, Tax Strategies, several things in it. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. The Tax Reform Kit. Again, 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764